All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Real EQ podcast. I'm your host, Ethan Quant, aka EQ. And today we have a truly inspiring guest. Tap is a Bahamian media pioneer, a cultural icon. She's known for shaping the entertainment and digital media landscape here in the Bahamas. Starting at just 19, she became the country's first prominent female content creator, using social media to push creative boundaries through comedy, political commentary, and impactful interviews. Beyond entertainment, she's a passionate advocate for women and girls in the Bahamas, creating campaigns and documentaries that spark awareness and change. Now, as the founder of Contentment Creative, she's helping brands connect with audiences locally and around the world, all while empowering the next generation of Bahamian creatives. Let's dive in. Tap.
Okay, we diving. No pinky toe. We
Tap.
going deep.
We diving in.
Okay.
Diving in wholesale.
Wow.
How you doing, Tap?
I am feeling amazing. I'm really excited to be here. Like I haven't done something like this in a while. Like a real, connecting interview. So I'm really excited to speak to you.
Well, I am so glad and so honored that you actually took the time out. I know that you're busy
Yes.
building empires
Yes.
and impacting and inspiring the world. So one of the things the first thing that I normally do on this podcast is I like to ask my guests, how do you define success?
Oh, wow. Okay. How do I define success?
Yeah.
I think me in this era I'm calling this like my rewrite season. Taking all of the lessons I've learned because I've been, in this field from a very, young age. And I feel like the old me success was like, blowing up in America, being as big as, I don't know, Justin Bieber but now I think I have a more expanded definition of what it means to be successful. Now, I think it means being able to own my own time. I think it means having options. I think it means being able to take care of and support my family. I think it means being able to truly impact people, especially women and girls. I feel like especially in my industry that's become so much more saturated, everyone's, doing content, and which is fine, but I'm really at this point, I don't want to just be doing come here with me, come eat with me. Like I want to facilitate the process of empowerment for young girls and women. I want them to watch my content or whatever project it is I'm working on or whatever I'm doing and get some type of, if it's just one nugget, to know that they are powerful, they are beautiful, they are confident, they don't have to be boxed in. That is success to me, to impact a generation of young women. And also the money. I need the millions. So, but that's why when I talk about being able to own your own time and have options, I said to myself this year, setting new goals, I'm like, I want to be like the first Bahamian born, living in the Bahamas, millionaire from content creation. So success means a lot of things to me. It means to be able to be at peace with yourself. It also means to be healthy in your mind, body, spirit. So my definition of success has expanded. And I would like to add, with me being a Black, Bahamian, unapologetic woman, it means to rise above and overcome and shatter that glass ceiling or whatever you want to call it, to be able to reach my goals with my dignity intact, with my values intact, with my morals intact, which is not easy to do in this industry as a woman. So all of these things mean success to me now. Yeah.
Well, I think that has easily been the most comprehensive,
Wow, thank you.
I'll say that, answer. So based on that definition, would you say that you're successful?
I'd say yes and no. I'd say a part of me, I know I have been successful to a degree with impacting young women, for sure. because they come up to me all the time and they message me, and so I'm grateful for that, and I feel successful for that. At the same time, I'm a person, I will never rest on my laurels. So I definitely feel like with this year, more of the business, I don't feel like I have not reached, where I really want to be in terms of, and I've talked to you about this, like structuring like my company and making sure that is running like a well-oiled machine. No, I feel like I haven't been successful in that yet. Like a lot of it still depends on me. I'm still building a team, as you know. Like in the business side, in terms of success, I feel like, no, I have not arrived. I need to do more. I need to make more. I need to have more structures. I need to be able to take a month off and my business not collapse. I don't need to be pulling all-nighters all the time anymore. So I feel like, no. But I feel like on that side, there's definitely a lot of room for growth. I feel like on my more, I guess, my emotional, spiritual side, yeah, I feel really good and really secure with where I am in that part of my life. But in terms of the business, no, I gotta step my cookies up, and I know that. Like, I'm pushing myself a lot more this year and to be more successful in that arena.
I love that. Now I know Tap, right? I've known you for a couple of years now, but I'm interested in learning a little bit about Lil Tap.
Oh God.
Like what were you like, as a child growing up, and like what were you like? Because I see your personality now, right? And it's big. It's I'm here. Was that always you, or is this an evolution of self? Like, give me some insight as to who Tap was when she was little Tappy, little Tappy running around.
Little Tappy, honestly, I came crip walking of my mother's vagina being like this. I was always like this bold, loud, authentic. I was always creative. Like some of my most distinct memories, I can remember myself being in my bedroom. Do you remember when like cassette tapes existed? And I would like my dad had this black radio, and I'd take the cassette tapes and I would record myself doing radio shows. I would be writing songs. I would be doing plays with my dolls. I was performing, singing in the church choir, like my whole life, praise team, school plays. So I feel like those people who have seen me from a child, this is not a surprise that I'm in this field. And I've always known what I've wanted to do. I think when you're a kid and you're that self-assured, people, I don't know if they really believe it. They think like, oh, you're gonna grow out of this maybe. Because I was telling someone the other day, I remember telling my parents, like, because I have an aunt who lives in New York, and I was telling them like, let me leave this country. I used to, like from grade 8, I'm like, let me move with my auntie Sandra, because I knew like I was destined for bigger things. So I've always been extremely passionate and extremely involved in creating, whether that was music, plays, documentaries, whatever. This has always been. I can remember standing in my mirror, practicing my Emmy speech and saying how I'm gonna be like Sidney Poitier. I used to watch Oprah after school every day in high school. What high schooler watches Oprah every day? But I was studying. I was like, okay, this is like a black woman who's, inspiring me. She's doing it. I used to watch these things and study, and like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna be. So I honestly, and it hasn't been easy being this committed to the journey this long, especially in the Bahamas, such a small country where it's like developing nation, and a lot of people still don't get it. But I've always known like this is what I was gonna do. I always knew it.
So you have, because I'm trying to figure out, I hear that, but I'm like, have you ever had and I don't want to say real job, but have you ever had like a traditional 9 to 5? Like, what you?
Yeah. I had a traditional job. So after high school, I went to UB and I studied mass comm, which I really wanted to study like performing arts, but they didn't have that at the time. So I was like, oh, I guess journalism is the closest thing I'm gonna do. And I had real jobs. I interned at a radio station. I was a babysitter, like a real babysitter. I worked at a hotel. Oh, I was a receptionist at a recording studio. I've worked as a marketing manager. I've worked in comms. I've worked for the government. Like, I've had, like, corporate girly or regular, degular, schmegular jobs. I definitely had. Like, it's been a journey. And you know what? I think it's good that you brought that up, because I feel like now, again, influencer, content creator, these terms did not exist. Okay? Like, they didn't exist. So And now that so many people are doing it, which by the way, I think is fabulous. I feel like people should have an outlet because that's why I started on social media. To me, it was like, okay, there's no performing arts school. The TV stations aren't making Bahamian television. You know, they aren't doing it. And when Facebook came along, it's like, I need an outlet, and this is my outlet. So I'm glad so many people are doing it. But I think it's important to say, like, it was a journey. There was no, oh, you go viral and then Nike picks you up or this company picks you up and you're a millionaire. Like, there was no. So I had a journey. Like, I had to work. But the funny thing about me, I always had the attitude like, oh, I'm not going to be here long. And I would quit quite quick and quite easy because I was like, oh, this is like, I even can remember being in high school, like my history teacher, Mr. Murray, because in my school, we did our BGCSEs in grade 11. So by grade 12, it's like, you have senioritis. And I could distinctly remember telling Mr. Murray, like, when I didn't feel like doing work, I'd be like, I don't need to do this. I'm going to be a star. Like, I've already gotten all the A's. I was a great student, scholarship student my whole life. But I was like, I don't need to do this now. I've done what y'all asked me to do. I'm going to be on TV. But that was a journey. You know, I worked, I had my ups and downs. And even though I was always very passionate about what I wanted to do, there are definitely times when I was like, F this, like, I need to go get one job, a government job. I mean, shoot, I was thinking that last night. Literally. I messaged someone, I'm like, I need to get a 9-to-5. Like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of people. I feel like, oh my God, I've proven myself so much times. People still want me to prove myself. It's frustrating. It's hard. It sucks. Sometimes you cry. Sometimes people disrespect you. A lot of times people disrespect you. It's a lot that I go through behind the scenes. And I definitely have my moments where I'm like, F this. Some man need to come take care of me. Take me back to Italy. I don't know. A distant family member who's a millionaire needs to leave me an inheritance. It's hard. And it was a journey. But I'm here. And the journey continues.
And that's what I want to talk about. The journey continues, right? And so, talking about the journey, so you had your regular, normal jobs. At what point did you say, you know what, I am going all in? And like, what was that transition? Was it, okay, well, I doing this on the side while I'm still got my 9-to-5? Or was it, you know, I'm going all in? Because for me, my entrepreneurial journey really, I didn't do the side thing. Like, I literally, but I did plan for about maybe 15 months, like a year and a half-ish, 15 months before I left my, like my mom would say, my good bank job. I had to go into business full time. But what was your, I guess, process and then the story of your transition from the 9-to-5s to, okay, I am doing this. And then what was this? Because now we know it as, you know, content creation. Now those terms didn't exist 19 years ago.
Yeah, they weren't there, yeah.
So what are we talking about? And then how did that transition happen?
Well, like I said, honestly, I already had made up in my mind that I'm gonna do this. So honestly, every job that I took in the back of my mind, it was temporary. And it was like, this is just a means to an end. I need to work. I like nice things. I don't want to be a bum. Like, I don't want to be in my parents' house forever. So, but in the back of my mind, I always knew. For me, when I went, I think when I really, that moment, I had a government job at a ministry. And my contract was supposed to be like 3 years. I was working in the communications department. And I just didn't feel, honestly, like they were utilizing my brain power, my creativity. And it's so crazy. Looking back now, I wouldn't have quit. I would have stayed. I would have just taken their money, whatever, insurance. I would have just done it. But my mindset then was like, you guys hired me to do this great stuff. Like, I want to do it. Like, I don't like to feel like I'm not contributing. I don't like to feel like I'm not working or like, I don't do things just for the look of it. Or like, no, I want to produce results. So it was just like, I sitting up here all the time, like, I got all these ideas. I'm pitching these ideas, y'all don't want to let me do it. So I was like, I just couldn't take it. Also that, honestly, I'll be honest, that archaic thinking of the older generation, like the things they were concerned about, the things it wasn't in alignment with my view of how, you know, things should be and like how the culture was progressing. It was very like, I remember the HR manager at the time too. She's like, do you think we're old fashioned? And I was like, hell yeah. I was like, y'all stuck in the 80s. Like, I mean, even down to little things like dress code. Like, I think I wore like ankle pants were in style. I don't know if anybody remember like ankle pants was in style. I got written up for wearing ankle pants, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, get with it. So at that point, that's when I was like, you know what? You need to stop complaining and just go do your own thing full time. I was still doing it the whole time. Like I said, like I was still doing like media interviews and going out to events and like creating content. And I always took it serious. There's never a time I didn't take it serious. Even when I wasn't making $1, it was like, this could be the thing that someone sees that gives you an opportunity. And even with like team members and people that interview and I bring them on now, I say, treat every job, every opportunity, like it could be the one that changes your life. Like this could be the one that Netflix sees, because you never know who's watching, especially with the internet. So I was still doing my thing. But after like that job, I was like, you know what? I need to really just focus on my own thing. And so I quit. And that's when I started like, you know, I'm just going to do this full time. And like you said, at the time, like the terms didn't exist, like content creation and stuff like that. But all I knew was like, listen, I'm talented, I'm gifted, I have all these skills. People are responding to it well on the internet. I'm watching the trends of what they're doing in the United States, which, you know, they're light years ahead of us. And I'm like, okay, if they could do it, I could do it. So I just literally started pitching to people. And I always tell people that like even now 85% of the opportunities I get, maybe even more, it's because I don't wait for someone to reach out and say, hey, Tap. I don't wait for someone to give me an opportunity. I knock on the doors. I knock on the windows. I climb on top of your sunroof. I'm like calling your cousin, your brother. Like I pitch. So that's what I started doing. I was like, I'm going to just start telling people, hey, I have this platform. It's getting this amount of views. Like, you can, you know, give me some money and I'll advertise your company. And that's kind of how it started. And then later on, the social media management business came about, because that's when I realized, okay, like these brands are paying me to advertise, but your page looks stink and you don't have no one. And I'm like, oh, light bulb moment. This is an opportunity for me to offer this service, and it's still within the same realm of what I do, and it'll give me even more stability. So after that government job is when I did quit. Now, mind you, after that, I took one more job. This is the last full-time job, like, you know, corporate job I had, which was, I was a marketing manager. And this was right before the pandemic. So I didn't even stay there a year. So that happened, and they had to let me go because it was the pandemic, and the type of business it was, they took serious hits. And because I never stopped doing my thing, I was like, okay, I continued. And actually that 2020, like as a content creator, I did really well in terms of making money. Because I think for Bahamians, because people couldn't leave the house, they finally realized like, oh, this media thing, the internet's important. Yeah, we've been trying to tell you that. So I actually did really well that year, like advertising, and like I was online every day making content, doing lives. I did live summits, seminar, coachings, all kind of stuff. And so after that last marketing job when the pandemic hit, it was like, okay, full steam ahead. We're gonna continue.
I think the pandemic was a pivotal moment for a lot of people, because, you know, even with my story, I started Lifestyles in 2019, but I started it as an internal content creation machine for my then business, which was in corporate wellness, and my wife's business. And so when the pandemic came, naturally companies were like, we ain't worrying about employee wellness. We're trying to figure out if we can stay open. But a lot of them needed media.
Exactly.
And so, you know, that kind of was the shift. We literally turned our living room into a studio, and Dekel was already online. Bowflex Bobby, for y'all who don't know my wife's real name. She was already online. And so, you know, like, I mean, same thing like you know, and that's when we actually launched Let's Move with Bowflex Bobby, our fitness show that we had on cable for a while. But
oh yes, in the pandemic, I was
yeah.
I was working out with her. I can remember being on the side of my parents' house, like I signed up for her stuff. So yes, I remember that.
So I say that to say, like, you know, I think the pandemic, like when people say, okay, well, you know, it was a horrible time, I kind of stay quiet because it was horrible in terms of, you know,
people died, Ethan.
But I also did, you know, it really did put Lifestyles in the forefront. I made some really good money, and it was a thing.
That's the dichotomy of life, though. Like there's always good and bad happening. I feel
Simultaneously.
like simultaneously, that's life.
Yeah.
Of course, the pandemic was so intense, but that's literally life. Like we're sitting here right now, and like Iran,
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
are living
yeah,
in totally
yeah.
different realities. So that's how life is. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this now, because, and you please, which I'm sure you will, but please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm following the timeline. So you went from the person, like as far as call it the influencer, the content creator, but really using your platform, your brand, right, to promote other businesses. And when we talk about Contentment Creative now, we're approaching more of a agency model.
Yes.
Correct? So talk to me about, I mean, because you mentioned that, okay, well, yeah, I did have the epiphany that, hey, you know, these people need help with social media management, but an agency model is slightly different in that as well, right? And so kind of talk to me about where we are now, like why this move, you know, and how has your experience, you know, just kind of give me the rundown on Contentment Creative.
Okay, so for me, why I decided to really focus on building Contentment Creative, you know, as a boutique digital media agency, money. It's so great to have it. And in the content creation space in Bahamas, in the media space, in a lot of spaces in the Bahamas, we're a developing nation. And there's going to need to be a lot of steps we take as a people holistically, mentally, to get where we need to be with anything to do creative. And so I felt as though focusing on the social media management for companies and agency was a smart way to create sustainability for myself while still doing something I enjoy. So people kind of understand in this market locally the importance now, especially after the pandemic, of having their social media pages up, having content. They're kind of getting it now. I feel like still with the influencing or advertising on your personal platform, your personal brand as TAP, I feel it's still kind of like people don't get it. It's still like a lot of pulling teeth. And honestly, it's just like it was a business decision. So it's like I know that every month my business is going to make X amount because I have my clients on retainer. And so therefore I will make X amount. And so I could, again, remember I told you one of my definitions of success is giving yourself options. So I know I will have X amount in my account. I know I'll be able to go to the gym I like to go to. I know I would like to get to Prosecco. I know I can travel. Like that's important for me as an independent woman to have options. So it was mostly a business decision to be able to see a gap in the market and say, oh, because of the personal platform I built, I'm able to leverage that and the relationships I have with people, whether it's personal relationships or the relationship I have with people online, and the amount of expertise I have as well. Like, and the fact that, you know, I have so many skill sets because, again, I went to school, I studied mass communication. I have all these years of experience doing more than one thing. Like, at the end of the day, if I need to, I always tell people who I interview to hire and be part of the team, I'm like, the reason I'm hiring people is to save me on time. Anything I'm asking you to do, I can do it. Now, I'm not saying I might not be like cinematographer, you know, Steven Spielberg, but I can do it. I can get it done. And whatever I can't do, I will figure it out. And so because of that mindset I've always had my upbringing in the studio days, like at the Hill, I learned to do a lot of things. Edit, film, lighting, all these things. And so all those years of expertise, I realized like, wow, a lot of people actually don't have this expertise locally. And, you know, I leveraged my relationships, I leveraged my likability, and it was a business move. And it was a great move for me. So, and I feel like it will be something that can outlive me. Again, you know, as much as I love media and conversing, I also have this flip side of my personality. Like you talked about Little Tap. Like, note that I was in the room alone doing the cassette tape recordings. Like, I also have that side of my personality, which I can be very hermity. Like anybody who follows me closely, if you pay attention, you realize I'll disappear for months. I won't post for months. And it's not because I'm out of creativity juices. I will never run out of that. It's leaking out of me everywhere. It's because I need that hermity time. I don't always want to be perceived, believe it or not. I don't always want to give my energy. And I feel like that's a normal part of being a creative. You need those moments of rest so you can rejuvenate. So I feel like with having a business, it's something where I won't always need to be tapped. If I decide to like throw my phone in the ocean personally and like go work at a coffee shop in Jamaica, then my business is still running though, because I've built it so well. And that's the direction I want to head in. This is a multi-million-dollar business. It can run. I don't need to be the face of it eventually. I don't need to leverage my personal, I'm tapped. And so that was a big part of it too. And like even the other businesses that I'm going to work on in the future, like I don't always want to have to use my physical body and presence in order to generate income, sustainability, options, protection for myself and for my family. So that's really why.
So, I mean, because you hit something, you're talking about, your personal brand, right? Tap the brand, right? Which, you spent quite a bit of time building and obviously you're leveraging it now in your business. How important is it, whether it's as a creative or even a business owner? Because I mean, you're leveraging your personal brand in the business, and even though that's something that you don't necessarily want to do indefinitely, because you want to create the business, create a strong enough foundation so that it could literally stand on its own. How important is it for business owners, founders, to really invest in developing their personal brand?
That's a great question. I have a lot of thoughts about it. Okay, I'm gonna say building your personal brand is not only about showing up online. I don't believe every founder needs to be front facing. And I even tell my social media clients that, like, depending on your brand, your goals, you don't need to be front facing, right? I feel like many things can be true at once. So I will say that. I will say building your personal brand goes beyond just how you are online. It all comes down to relationships, relationship building. I have developed a relationship with the public, right? That's essentially what I've done, where they can recognize me, they can describe me accurately. Certain things come to mind when you think of Tap, right? That's building a brand. What do people associate me with? So I would say if you're not a front-facing person, the power of relationships. So your personal brand, your day-to-day, what do people know you for in the real world? And I'd actually argue that's why when I'll talk like specifically about the content creation space, a lot of, oh God, I remember there was this brand that came to the Bahamas and they involved some content creators and they didn't involve others. And a lot of people had feelings about that. And your feelings are valid. But I remember thinking to myself, I was like, people need to understand going viral or being popular isn't necessarily building a brand. People see your face, your video has a lot, but they can't really associate. They don't really know what you're about. They just know, oh, he's funny, she's funny. Oh, like you're not intentional and strategic about your brand. And then also, it's so important, again, going back to what I said, in real life, having relationships and having a reputation in real life. And I feel like that's how I've been able to build a brand, going back to the fact that, like told you, in my coming up, I wasn't just posting on social media. I was going to Fam Fest and saying, I would like to do interviews on camera for free for y'all, going and interviewing artists, that sort of thing, doing a documentary, rubbing shoulders with news people, like, so in real life, planning events, having, different things I was doing in person, doing things with the news. It's so funny. I had someone who's working for me and like, we were rolling something out and I was like, we have to do like radio. And they were like, why we got to do radio? No one listens to radio. I was like, I agree. Like, I don't listen to radio, like that. But I'm like, the people who sign the checks do. All the old people do. They do. And in real life, like, they have to know you in real life. So yeah, we need to go to the radio. We need to shake their hands. We need to smile. We need to kiss the babies. A lot of people are only in their little bubble on social media, and they think that's enough to build a brand. But I feel like it's a combination of, in real life, touching people, connecting, having relationships. And that doesn't just go for content creators. Like I said, if you're a founder and you don't necessarily want to be front facing, your personal brand is how you treat people, what your reputation is for delivery, for results, how you interact with others. So I've realized relationships are honestly more important than the talent, the service, or the product, to be quite honest. You have to really frig it up in terms of like your delivery service. Like, you have to be absolute caca for it to trump your relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you an example. I dealt with one of many terrible videographers until I met the lovely Ashanti. And I had this long-term client. This was recent. And the person ghosted me. The videographer ghosted me. And so it was like a whole thing. I had to pull up on their job, like get my files, like, you know. And so this delayed some stuff with the client, right? Now, in a normal situation, having a delay for something you already paid for 2-3 weeks. But because I had already built the relationship and shown results, and my character and my personal brand and all these things already spoke, the client was like, okay, I understand, like, da-da-da-da. So it's important that you know, whatever it is that you're doing, selling, it's not just about your talent, your gift, your service, your product. Your relationship with others is one of the biggest assets you can have. And I think that's very important for people to know, regardless of what industry you're in. Leveraging relationships, being genuine in your relationships, and not just coming into it with, oh, what I can get out of this. Because people can smell that a mile away.
Yeah.
But being genuine, seeing how do we align, and if there's alignment, like honoring that alignment, being reciprocal. Yeah, so I feel like it's very important. And in terms of your personal brand, for me, it's been like a big part of why I've been able to grow and have so many opportunities that God has blessed me with. So it just depends on where you're at and where you're comfortable. But regardless, straight across the board, relationships and your personal brand, even if you're not online, is basically your reputation, in my opinion, with how you treat others and how you interact. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always say that, you know, your personal brand is the story people say about you when you're not in the room, right?
Exactly.
And really what social media does is, or it should be able to, is amplify that and expand your reach, but you are who you are, right? And so that's why, you know, this whole notion of, oh, you got to be your authentic self on social media, it's like, it just makes sense because you can't freak the funk.
Yeah,
or
maybe some
fake the
people
funk.
shouldn't be their authentic self, though. Like, some of them, their authentic self is scary.
Well, yeah. I am interested though, Tap. Now, you know, like I said, we know Tap, but what is something that people may not know about Tap and may even be a bit surprised?
They can
to
buy the
find
book
out.
in 20 years.
Yeah, they can
They can buy the book. Yeah, y'all can try to. I tell you, Lil Tap, I mean, I think maybe that is the thing people would be most surprised about, that I am, despite the fact that I'm like on social media and I'm this personality, I am an extremely private person.
Yeah.
Extremely. And did I say extremely yet?
You did.
I'm extremely private, protective. I always ask people, like, have you ever seen my parents? Have you?
I don't know. I'm thinking about. I want to say yeah because
You
I
haven't.
think so, but I
That's just
haven't.
no.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen my, you know, you don't see it. And that's intentional. You don't see people think I'm an only child. I'm not. I'm very private. When I was living in Eleuthera, and the only reason I'm talking about it because I'm not anymore, like, it's so funny. My neighbors didn't even know people would see me and they'd be like, boy, you love Eleuthera, you hear a lot. I'm like, yeah, it's so great. And I'm not correcting you. I'm not telling you, like, I'm very, What did Lil Wayne say? Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Like that's me. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't know if that's like my, half Jamaican upbringing is like I'm a very private, and there's a lot that I don't share, and there's a lot that I don't talk about. There's a lot that I go through. And so I think people would be surprised to know how private I am, and also how, like, I love people. I don't know how to explain this. I love humans, right? Like with the love of Christ. But at the same time, I'm very like, okay, these are my 5 people right over here that I know. And so I think sometimes people may be surprised if they see me out. I'm not like, when I go in a room, I just like, if there's an event, I like have blinders on and I literally walk to who I know and I just stay there. I'm not, now unless I come a little Prosecco's, I'm gonna be like, hey. But usually I'm kind of, it's like I have this, there's like these 2 sides of my, like I said, the dichotomy where I'm like very like, hey. And also very like, I don't want to talk. I just be in my room quiet. I don't want to post. I don't know. So maybe people would be surprised to know how like, how private I am. How, I guess, yeah, just really private, really like, I feel like I'm an ambivert. I don't think I'm an extrovert. And then how like,
All right, hold on, wait, back up because I know the hell.
because like
ambivert.
So introvert, you have
Right, I know
introvert,
introvert,
extrovert,
extrovert.
ambivert. So that's like a combination of the 2. So, and it's not so much about your personality. It's actually, people think like, oh, introvert means shy. It's how you recharge.
Right.
So introverted people need to recharge like in quiet, alone, whereas extroverts recharge around others. And so ambivert, I guess I'm like a mix of the 2. So, and she's a sensitive girl. She's sensitive, I'm very sensitive, very passionate, That's all I'll give for now. Y'all got to buy the book in like 20 years.
Buy the book.
When I will tell all the stories.
All the what do people that say now? All the tea?
All the tea, like.
That's still a thing? They still say that?
Yes, it's always been a thing.
Y'all still say tea?
Yeah, tea. We say it's tea.
Okay.
But I think people would also be surprised to know like some of the things I have gone through.
Right.
Some of the lows I've experienced, and I literally just have to always credit God for getting me through. I'm a big believer in God, in Jesus, and like Him putting me here and giving me a purpose. But there's, a lot of time. I notice to be on top. I notice to have absolutely nothing. I notice to be on the side of the road, tears coming down my eyes because I don't even have like $5 to catch a cab, and I'm in New Jersey, and I calling my friends crying, like it's a lot that people don't see. I think on one part, I think people are right maybe not to share certain parts of their journeys, because it's like, look at when people do share online. When people come online and people cry and people are like, what you crying for? I would never cry on the internet. They would have to beat this out of me. Why? This is a part of the human experience. Are we only allowed to share happiness and anger? And that's the thing about Bahamians too. That's my theory. I feel like Bahamians only know like 2 modes. They're okay with ha hee hee or cussing people out. There's not, like how you said this was a safe space when you came. I feel like generally we're not a safe space for people to show the whole gamut of emotions. And people are cruel to people when they actually speak their truths and they show I'm not okay. I feel like we had a brief twinkling of the eye moment in the pandemic, and that's, I don't want to say I missed the pandemic because it was terrible and there were people dying, but I do distinctly remember you could say at that time I'm mentally not okay, and people were like accepting and supportive. And now that things are back to normal, which there's no such thing, people are back to being their stink, old, unsupportive, judgmental selves. And I think that's why a lot of people don't share and like don't want to show that part of themselves, because people are not very kind, especially on the internet. And so, yeah.
No, I don't know why I laugh, but I get it. I think I laugh because I get it. And I think for me, the thing that comes to mind is like, honestly, I just be like, fuck them.
Oh, Jesus.
Like all of them, right? Like, honestly, that's how I feel.
Oh, Lord.
In terms of, I just think it's a special kind of person who finds it necessary to go out of their way to be negative on the internet.
On the internet, hold on. I need to sip my Prosecco, child. It's time. Oh, can I use the straw?
I think is a special kind of person. But all right, so Tap, somebody who may be watching this, right? They look at Tap in all of her Tapness. Everything that you have accomplished, the plans and the goals that you have for yourself. And they want that, right? They really, it is their dream, their desire, their goal to be where Tap is now. What do they need to pack? Whether that's spiritually, emotionally,
I was gonna say,
physically,
Jesus, first of all.
to get on this journey to be where you are, because you are an inspiration. You are, I think, you talk about the work that you want to do for empowering young girls and women, but I think, even somebody like me who's neither of those things,
I know,
young woman or
men be watching my things,
Yeah.
and not just the pervy ones.
No, because
like actually, I'd be shocked at that
I
because I'm
think-
like, this place ain't for y'all. I ain't gonna lie.
No, but I think
You know?
I think those who are seeking value can get value, right?
Wow.
And so I think that's that. So, but for somebody who's saying, you know what, I want to get where Tap is. Tap is the goal. What do they need to walk with?
Well, I like to back up because I want to give some commentary on the last thing you said about people being negative. I think when we are negative to others, it's important to check yourself, because I realize a lot of that is projection from your own internalized unresolved issues and your own internalized lack of kindness. And I've even, checked myself on this where I don't know, like if you've ever had a situation where, okay, I'll give a really real example. So let's say you have some woman on the internet or whatever that comes out and it's like, oh, my husband cheated on me or whoever, and I don't know how to leave and whatever. And like, I see it and I'm like, you're so stupid or whatever. You're so whatever. And then it's like, I check myself, or really I feel like the Holy Spirit checked me and it's like, why would you be so unkind to someone when you've been through the same thing? But the reason is because I haven't forgiven myself. I judge myself. The same thing, I think of that person, like, she's so stupid. That's how I felt about myself. Like, I was so stupid. I should have known better. And I feel like that applies straight across the board. Whenever you see people are, like, consistently cruel to others, that's usually their internal voice, their internal narrative about themselves that they weren't born with. Someone else projected that onto them and they adopted it. So I feel like when you see people are consistently cruel or mean, you have to really check yourself and be like, okay, what about this person's experience is triggering me, or this person's existence is triggering me to react in this way? And it's usually something you feel about yourself, usually guilt, shame. It's something in there that you have to look and be like, okay, let me take a step back.
Yeah, I agree, but my thing is there's a difference between having the thought and then hopping
acting on
on
it.
your
Yeah, I agree.
hopping on your phone or your laptop,
Yeah.
seeking out that and then commenting.
And then commenting, I agree.
Like, I think there's a different, I mean, it's an intrusive thought. You have that
You have
thought.
to capture that thought.
Right.
Yes.
There's a difference between thinking it and then actually
I completely
taking the time
agree.
to type that on somebody else. And I think that I think it's quite normal to have the thought.
Yeah.
I think it's just a different kind of
Yeah, to go out of your
side
way. I
to
agree.
go out of your
And,
way
like, some
to-
people even
to
make
have that.
accounts.
Yeah.
Or faceless accounts.
Yeah, we ain't
All
got-
that stuff.
I ain't got that kind of time.
But to answer your question was, what do people
Yeah,
need
so
to do?
what advice do you have for somebody who wants to get to where you at?
Oh, how much time do you have? Okay. Wow. Okay. I think it's very important. I always tell people you have to know your why. Okay? Know and figure out, or go on the journey, because it's a journey of figuring out your purpose, not just your passion, because those are two different things. I was always passionate about creative, being a creative, creating things, songs, music, whatever, I thought that was also my purpose. But I realized what I'm talented at and what I'm passionate about are just conduits or mediums for the bigger purpose. And for me in particular, I realized, okay, that purpose is highly tied to women and girls and counseling them and helping them on their journey, being a light to them. So I know that's my purpose. And once that clicked, and that didn't click right away, but once that clicked, it was like I became very intentional. That's why even in my jokes, when I'd be like, "Oh, this page ain't for niggas," like, no, I serious though, because like, not to say that you niggas like you can come, you welcome, you sensible, but it's like I know what the purpose is now. Like I'm here to reach the ladies, so you need to on your journey, and it's not going to come overnight because, like I said, when I first started, I thought the purpose was just being creative, and it came in time as I started to shift and see the responses. I was like, and I started to get certain types of messages from women in my, like women who were abused, women who were like so many things. Know your purpose and your why, because that's what's going to keep you going on the days like I had yesterday when I was like, I need to get a 9 to 5 because people are pissing me off. I can't do this anymore. Why am I doing this? The only reason I've kept going this long, and it's like so many people who I've started out with, you know, a lot of people have given it up, and it's like, you have to know your purpose and your why. If the why is the randelas, if it's the money, that will fade. If the why is the attention or the validation you feel from likes, from whatever, like, you're not gonna last. You have to know what's the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is bigger than you. What's the legacy you're gonna leave behind? So, you know, whenever I die, like 50 years from now, I want women to be able to say, well, oh my gosh, like, I remember this word she gave me, or this program, or like I saw the PSA she did on domestic violence, and that actually promoted me to like leave my abuser. That's the type of time that I'm on. That's the type of stuff I want to do. And I am in the process of doing, like, even with the type of content I'm doing and the things I'm doing now. And so knowing your why. Also, number 2, you need to have a work ethic. I think it's not in the room with us, with a lot of people. And I've shared with you, you know, like with my company for the last year, I then ran through like 7 people. And they're not bad people. They're nice. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're talented. The work ethic ain't in the room. I think people want instant results. People want to go viral, and then I'm a millionaire tomorrow. People want to put out the business today, and then I'm a millionaire tomorrow. And I'm not seeing that work ethic of like, even when, as far as I've come, and I'm doing so much better, like financially with my business, I still be up. I mean, how much times this week I was up 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock? You think I want to be? No, I want to be watching Love on the Spectrum. I can't even watch my shows because I'm working. I got to do it. If you're going to do it, do it. Whatever it is, stop making excuses. Work. I know we say work smart, not hard, but that comes at phases. All the persons, and I've been listening to like a lot of podcasts and stuff, and it's like with women, every successful person has that period where they working like a dog. Every successful person has that period where they know like, oh, I only eat noodles because I was saving, or I was like, you can't skip that. You can't. So for the people who want something, like, you really ask yourself if you want that. And no, especially for like being an entrepreneur, maybe really evaluate if it's for you, because it's not for everyone. I think the pendulum swung so hard where it was like, we caca in on 9 to 5s. We don't need to do it. Like, I don't even want to call them regular jobs. A job is a job. Like, you don't have to work for yourself. There's nothing wrong with working for others. It takes a lot to work. You work more when you work for yourself.
Yeah.
Y'all get up at 5. I ain't never I don't know, to get up at 5. Like, it's always going. So really evaluate yourself if you really want to do the work. And if you don't, that's okay. That don't make you less of a person. It's not for you. And that's okay. So know your why. Do the flicking work, okay? And I would also say, in terms of how I got some more. Community. I did not get here by myself. Community, collaboration. I really was telling someone, especially, I don't know, it's in the other industries right now. I feel like in my industry, people aren't collaborating as much as, and again, because I've been in the industry so long, I can see the shifts. When I first came, it's like, again, I was at the Hill. Mark Cartwright, he didn't know me. He had a studio space. He was letting young people come in there for free. We were collaborating. We weren't getting paid. We were making songs. We were doing things. Collaboration, right? I would not be where I am if I didn't have like videographers who saw something in me and they're like, "Oh, Tab, you want to do video?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool. We're not getting paid for. We're not like we're collaborating. Let's collaborate more. You can't do this by yourself. You can only go so far alone. You need people. You need, and of course, you want to make sure you're finding equally yoked, like-minded people. But you need people. Many hands make a load light.
Yeah.
You need people. This whole lone wolf bull caca is going to get you burnt out. You're going to look haggard. You're going to feel haggard and you're going to do less. You need people. Let go of your ego or maybe the trauma of you tried with people before and it didn't work. Okay, that happens. I can tell you I ran through 6-7 people before I found the person I have now and the other people I have now. You don't stop hoping and stop trying just because it didn't work out with the last person.
Yeah.
Right? And that goes for business. That goes for relationship. Like, let hope spring eternal. Okay? Community. And then finally, for me, the most important thing is like work on yourself internally, emotionally, spiritually. Like, I don't care if people get tired of it, but you just have me saying, Jesus, 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 you divine Jesus. Seriously, God has like ordered my steps, protected me from my own stupidity. I look back at some of the things I did personally as well as professionally. Stupid. But God. And I feel like being grounded spiritually, and that's a journey in and of itself, okay? Don't let people make you think like you need to be perfect, you need to do this or whatever, you know, wearing your 3-piece suit and your Easter hat to have a relationship with God. But taste and see that the Lord is good. I can't speak for anyone. I can speak for myself and the encounters and the experiences I've had that it only could have been God that get me out of those experiences. And again, that's also really tied to your purpose and your why. And like when you get closer to God, you also begin to have more of a love for people and you realize like how connected we are as humans. And again, it's not about you. It's about the person coming behind you, the person next to you. So I feel like all of these elements have been really vital. And I would say have fun. Explore. You know? Yeah, you work hard, but you balance out with don't be afraid to experiment. I think a lot of people, that's why people don't get nothing done. Because they're obsessed with, it has to be perfect. And it's like, relax, girl, breathe. Done is better than perfect. Just get it done. Have fun with it. Some things come out good. Some don't. Some people love it. Some people hate it. But have fun with it. This life on this side, we only have one life in this human body.
One life.
One. And your time, it's finite. Now it may be different we don't know. Some is long, whatever. But it's going to run out. It's not an infinite resource. Time, it's not. So have fun, find joy, create pockets of happiness for you and your community. And with those things combined, you're going to have not only a successful life, but a very fulfilled life. Like I sleep very good at night with one leg up like a ballerina. I sleep very good. It's not perfect, but I'm on my journey. And like combining all these things, I feel extremely fulfilled. And I believe we all can feel that.
I love that. All right, guys. I told you you would not want to miss this episode with Tap. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I don't think I need to add anything else. But if you do have somebody in your life who you feel need to hear this message, please send it to them. And I'd like to know what you thought. Leave a comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, all right? And remember, get uncomfortable and do the work because the world needs your greatness. Peace.